This is the Oneness Podcast, episode 45. I am Jessica Delmar. I assist in strengthening your knowledge of who you truly are as a powerful creator being during these powerfully shifting times. Hello everyone, thank you so much for being here. Welcome back. I know that it has been a couple of weeks since my last podcast episode, and that's because a lot of information has been coming through and it's required me to just kind of sit with it and integrate it and absorb it and understand it before sharing. So right now is the perfect time for this information to be shared with you. In today's episode, we are going to be talking about relationships and the Obsidian Children. In the last episode, I spoke a little bit about the Obsidian Children because it's very connected to the Atlantean, Lemurian, and Mesopotamian energy that has been coming through and very much rising within our collective experience. But before we get into the Obsidian Children, we have to talk about relationships because, of course, that is connected to bringing forth these Obsidian Children. So I want to first kind of check in with you, and if you're in a relationship, I want you to sort of witness it and view it and observe it from this outside perspective in order to understand what's going on. How do you feel your relationship is going? Because right now, what I'm witnessing in the collective, at least, especially in Lightworker Collective, is a lot of this sort of stuck energy in relationships. One person is awakening, the other person is not. Or maybe you're feeling your differences rising to the surface. Either way, what it showed me is sort of that finger trap thing where you put two fingers into that finger trap, and when you pull it, you just have resistance and your fingers can't come out of the trap. It's kind of that same sort of push and pull energy where energy might not necessarily feel like it's moving forward in the way that you want to, or it feels stuck. So in this episode, we're really going to dive into the energy of relationships. And as I'm talking about it, if you're feeling like you're connecting with this information, if you feel like you're going through this sort of same type of energy in your relationship, definitely stay open because there's a lot of activations as I'm talking about it and going through this information. So essentially what's playing out within a lot of within a lot of groups or couples, people in relationships, is there's this powerful push and pull beneath the surface of Lemurian and Atlantean energy. In the last episode, I spoke about Lemurian and Atlantean energy coming together to birth the Mesopotamian energy. So if you haven't yet listened to episode 44, be sure to listen to that episode first and then come back to this one. There are many significant relationships upon which one person holds a strong essence of Lemurian energy and the other person holds a strong essence of Atlantean energy. If these two energies are able to come together rather than pull apart during this time, the creative energetic force that births out of this merging is a significant one. It is the Mesopotamia energy origin, the essence of divine union, heart and mind together as one. This is the power of co-creation at this time, especially between those who are different. You see, your differences allow for a unified energy field that is more complete and whole, rather than fragmented. But by keeping the division alive, differences are separated and fragments are unable to come together as unified. Fragments are unable to come together to join together and understand themselves in that unified field. Do not allow the division of the world to be a burden on your back, but remember that everything is connected. So if you feel like you're a little bit overwhelmed with the division going on in the world, you must bring that energy back in and first understand how division is playing out for you both internally as well as within your immediate realities. So if you feel that division is in your immediate realities, especially between you and your relationships with others, you must first find a way of energetically bridging those divisions. Not necessarily externally, but internally, in the way that you hold the energy of the division within yourself. The things going on in the world are triggering massive division within people. It's bringing up all the division and separation within you to the surface. Therefore, it's triggering the manifestation of massive division externally in the world around you. However, this is a time of great awakening, led by soul intention. So everything that triggers you is soul-defined. What we mean by this is that you had a plan before coming into this life. You, as a soul, created a path of external circumstance that would lead you to soul purpose in a physical human form and experience. All souls' paths on earth at this time leads to this very moment where awakening takes place one way or another. There is awakening on many different levels, but to get to the next level, you must be triggered into embracing it. The divisions taking place within you are asking you to choose between what feels in alignment to you and what does not. Division extends into resistance, while unification extends into ease. It is simply how the body holds energy that determines whether you are in a state of ease or resistance. If you hold division within you regarding anything, you must witness internally where the feeling of division stems from. It will take you on a beautiful journey of self-love and unconditional love for others. It will integrate compassion, grace, and forgiveness within yourself and how you connect with others. If you can soften the energy of division within yourself, you may find that the way that you show up in your connections with others will shift dramatically. This is not saying that you must reestablish a relationship with someone who hurt you, but this is saying that you must soften the energy that continues to hold that person as separate and influencing lower vibrations within you. You do not need to physically be in the same room with others in order to soften resistance that you hold within. All is done within, so that if you are in resistance with someone, you shift the way that you hold that person's energy within you, which also shifts the way that you show up in your relationships. Some people have so much hate for others, but what is happening is that the energy that you're holding on to is not yours. When you hate someone, you are holding their energy within you, and this allows for your energy to be compromised and infiltrated by other forms of hate. But if you release that person's energy from your body, they no longer have a hold on you, nor do the vibrations that are cultivating within that same holding. This leaves you freer and more internally open. The grip of hate no longer opens separation within you, but you learn to transmute it into a unified space through unconditional love, grace, compassion, inner empowerment, and forgiveness. The triggers that you hold are often masked by external circumstances and people, but you must know that all external things are reflections of the internal. Your path of enlightenment looks nothing like an easy breezy waltz down a gold-paved path, but enlightenment comes forth from the ashes of darkness. It is when you are in the midst of darkness that you must remember that the light is always within you, but you must be the one to turn it on. Your relationships are greatly serving you. During this time of division, which may drive people apart, you must remember that when you feel a person is no longer serving you, you must ask yourself, are you making these decisions based upon the heart or the head? If there is a negative feeling for another person, it is based on the heart. If there is a negative thought for another person, it is based on the head. But don't they go together is the question. When you have negative thoughts, you usually have negative feelings. And when you have negative feelings, you usually have negative thoughts. So yes, they go together. So as you have negative thoughts and feelings, they actually unite the heart and mind through division, meaning the negative thoughts and feelings that unite the heart and mind through division is actually taking you away from who you truly are. But if you're able to transmute the energy of how you think and feel about another person or other people or whoever might be triggering you, if you're able to transmute that energy through compassion, love, grace, and forgiveness, you begin to shift the way that the heart and mind are uniting. You begin to shift the heart and mind to unite through love rather than division. And when you begin to unite the heart and mind through these feelings and thoughts of love, this is what takes you closer to who you truly are, rather than taking you away from who you truly are. Now, let's get into relationships. If you find yourself in a relationship where one person is very heart-based and the other person is very mind-based, you have a powerful opportunity to co-create a unified field of energy. There are many different types of relationships, but for right now, we are pinpointing this type of relationship because of the powerful Lemurian and Atlantean connection between the heart and the mind, and because this is the information that's been coming through, connected to the last podcast episode. So just like any relationship, when you and your partner are seeing eye to eye, energy can move forward in very powerful ways. But when you and your partner are not seeing eye to eye, it can create some powerful rifts. What is trying to be achieved within many couples right now is a 0-point field of unification. This means that the energy of each person is aligned and in harmonic flow with each other, both in the physical and in the soul or spiritual. With couples who are split in Lemurian and Atlantean energy, this offers a very unique sort of chokehold energy in the sense that a person who has a strong Atlantean energy is very mind-based and may not necessarily be able to get to a place of spiritually or emotionally connecting with their partner. And a person who has a very strong Lemurian energy is very heart-based and may not necessarily be able to get into a place of mentally and physically, in many aspects, connecting with their partner. And so the energy tends to choke in the sense that one partner holds the physical space and the other partner holds the spiritual space. So the question is, how can these two people come together? It's not about one person fulfilling the needs of another, meaning you are not two puzzle pieces that fit together because the other person fills things within you that you're lacking, and you fill things within the other person that person is lacking. That is an old perception of compatibility. In other words, opposites attract, right? But relationships are very much changing. Both souls, at the place where we are right now, desire fulfillment in all areas, despite if you might be strongly Atlantean or strongly Lemurian. You desire, on a soul level, you desire more completeness, more fulfillment, more wholeness, which makes you more well-rounded, if you will. So when you're in relationships, it's such a powerful building block to creating a more expansive self, right? Other people offer these powerful opportunities for us to experience and grow into other areas, especially other unfamiliar areas. And the ability to become fulfilled internally as we explore these other areas of ourselves is offered when we are in these different types of relationships. So this is why the Lemurian Atlantean relationship is so powerful, because if you are very heart-based, if you have a partner who is very mind-based, it opens an avenue or a channel for you to explore the mind more, explore that type of energy, and also integrate it into who you are to make yourself more fulfilled, more complete, more whole. So that's essentially the purpose happening right now, rather than keeping with that mindset as that other person is fulfilling a need that I have or something that I'm lacking, and continuing to keep those things separate. The energies, that's not really how relationships are anymore in terms of what I'm feeling into. Because on a soul level, the souls want your physical experience to be so much more fulfilled and whole as you, one person. And so if in these types of relationships, one person being very heart-based, the other person being very mind-based, Lemurian, Atlantean energies that are separate, if you each are able to learn from each other and get to a point of becoming fulfilled within yourself, right? Feel that wholeness within yourself and still be together or come together or grow together, this opens a powerful field of 0 point. Energetically, as I was looking to see how this exactly happens, it just, the energy just ends up this way. It ends up kind of meeting in the middle in those types of relationships that offer fulfillment on both sides. Meaning the mind-based person learns to open up their connection to spirituality and emotions, and the heart-based person learns to open up their mind and connection to the physical, become more grounded. So there's very much like a meeting point that is occurring in the middle. And when that happens within both people, especially in a relationship, it tends to channel that 0 point energy or divine neutrality in the relationship. There are many relationships like this out there, which is why it's kind of like the dominant flow of relationships when I look into things. And not only because, in our old mind or view or thought of relationships, how opposites attract, but also because it is kind of human nature to find someone with energy that you need. If you're lacking something, you find someone with that energy to help kind of bring that out of you. But right now, in the times that we're in, as more people awaken, more people become more aware and in tune of themselves. They are becoming more aware and in tune of how they are being fulfilled, both internally and externally. They are becoming more aware of how they're giving their power away or taking it back, empowerment or disempowerment. They're becoming aware of how they're feeling, whether they're feeling whole and full, or if they're feeling into that lack and unworthiness. And because of this, relationships are changing dramatically. And so many times, one person in the relationship starts to awaken and becomes more awakened and starts to follow that path, and the other person is not. However, the way that many people tend to start to view this as it happens in their relationship is they tend to view it through the lens of separation, meaning they view it as I am awakened and my partner is not. We are not understanding each other anymore. We are not viewing the world the same way anymore. However, if your external environment is a reflection of your internal energy, there then can be the observation or the awareness that there is much opportunity to be found in your divided relationships. If you are being triggered by your partner, you are being shown what is still divided within you. You are being shown the parts of you that desires wholeness and stillness within you. You can run from these triggering relationships all that you want, but until the energy settles within you, it will continue to follow you. So now is the perfect time to work on these things as it presents itself to you, as you are triggered, rather than push it away, because it will just become the inevitable. When you do this work on yourself to unite the division and resistance that you're holding by listening to your triggers, you cast a wide net for compassionate living, and you show up differently in your relationships, and therefore your relationships show up differently for you. 0 point is energetic neutrality, but essentially it is divine balance. It is when you can reach a point when you are in full acceptance and surrender to what is. because surrendering to what is what gives you empowerment to create what can be. Surrendering leads to aligned intention rather than reactive hindrances. The thing with 0 point is that as much as it can feel like divine neutrality and balance on one side of the stick, on the other side of the stick, it can feel very stagnant and stuck. It all depends upon what frequency you're tuning into in that space, in that neutrality space. But the good thing is that if you are feeling that sort of stagnant or stuck energy, you're in that neutral space. So there's very quickly on the opposite side a doorway to divine neutrality and balance if you're able to feel your way there vibrationally through frequency and what you're holding in the body. And if you do find yourself in that uncertain, neutral place, which might be offering stagnant or stuck energy, you really have to choose, you have to energetically choose whether you want to come together at this time or fall apart. Coming together means discovering balance within yourselves, and falling apart means discovering the faults within each other. So this goes for anything, even if you're not in that neutrality space. If you're feeling the push and pull of division in your relationships, you have to consciously choose whether you want to come together or fall apart, right? Coming together means you are both open to fully discovering balance within yourselves first. And falling apart means that you're going to continue to discover faults in each other rather than looking at yourselves. Coming together moves you into divine neutrality and opens a co-creative opportunity to birth new and exciting things from this space of 0 point. 0 point is the doorway into new earth. With the softening of division within you, along with the softening of things that keep you in division, such as fear, you open surrender and integrate compassion, and the energy within you begins to glue together as love rather than fear, as wholeness rather than separation. The balance of energy intentionally takes place as you move with how energy desires to come together within you. Sometimes you work with empowerment, sometimes you work with deep emotion, sometimes you work with stillness, sometimes you work with inspiration, sometimes you work with courage and strength, sometimes you work with letting go and letting God. It all really depends upon how the energy within you is interacting and desiring movement. So this brings me to the Obsidian Children, and you might ask yourself, what does this all have to do with the Obsidian Children? Well, the shift into wholeness and 0 point within you is the doorway for the next generation to birth through. They do not birth out of the fire of division, but they birth out of the ashes of wholeness. They are sent here to help with the renewal of Earth and regeneration of Earth energy. They are here to help recover what is lost and help rectify what is broken. They continue the torch from the Lightworker generation that came before to fulfill an ancient prophecy of New Earth and the people of New Earth. The Obsidian Children are birthed as ember from the ashes to spark new light in the heart of the world. Their energy merges light and dark, good and bad, positive and negative, heart and mind. The energy of these children will be in charge of neutralizing the fiery energy of prevailing destruction. In fire, Obsidian merges, not as fire, but rather as energy in crystallized form. In the Obsidian's ability to alchemize, it implodes its energy into the deepest realms of fire to fiercely draw truth to the surface and restore the heart of the earth that was enveloped by the destructive fire. I love this because the vision it gives me is all of this division, this destruction, the fear that came forth from our earthly experience over the past so many years, All of that has to happen. It's kind of like a raging fire right now, but it has to happen in order for this energy from these Obsidian children to come forth as the crystallized form birthed forth from that fire. But as it comes forth, as it's birthed, it pulls up all of that energy that it knows of the fire in its crystallized form so that it has the knowledge to make all of these shifts and changes. In the obsidian's ability to alchemize, so it has that powerful knowledge of alchemy already, it implodes its energy into the deepest realms of fire to fiercely draw truth to the surface and restore the heart of the earth that was enveloped by the destructive fire to begin with. Their intention is to open the point of zero so that those who walk in the fire can find hope and light of a new day, unlike the days before. They offer energy of great hope and are the gatekeepers of new earth. Their energy opens the doors and lets the light into the darkness, shedding hope within all. At this point of me bringing through the information, a lot of energy was starting to ramp up, and the energy of the Obsidian children came through, so I want to share what came through. We are the Obsidian children. We serve God in the greatness of all. We are born in the light of all things made possible. Our image is witnessed as the vast, wide open horizon. Beyond the line of sight is the grace of God that embeds in all things, and we, the children of Obsidian, are here to weave that grace amongst all things. We are free of judgments and persecution, and we give thanks to those who created this path for us to emerge free of all human infestation. The path is open, the forecast is clear, and we are ready for landing. In the name of the Heavenly Father, we are daring to move mountains and share our knowledge of faith so that all are given the chance to walk through the doors of the shadow of death and emerge on the other side, stepping into the grace of heaven on earth. And so it is. We are well and we are here. And that was a powerful message that came through from the Obsidian Children energy field, I would say. So just keep in mind that the energy unveiling right now is one that opens hearts and minds, not through fear, but through wonder. Stay fierce and loyal to your heart, and the energy of Obsidian will envelop you as joined knowledge, strength, and inner empowerment. Do not stay open, and the energy of Obsidian will pierce you like shards of broken glass, fiercely, fiery, yet unconditionally lovingly. All is truly well. May the guidance of Obsidian energy gild you in gold and eagerness for New Earth 5D to unfold. And that is what came through for today. Thank you so much for being here, for listening in, and for all of your support. This podcast can now be found on all podcast platforms, so listen and subscribe on Apple iTunes, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor, Breaker, and YouTube. I'll see you in the next episode, and remember that all is truly well. Oneness, love, and peace be with you.